Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Show, the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. So glad you're here. So glad you're here, my friend. Pull up my chair. Gonna fill you with joy. No, I'm gonna fill you with despair. So much you're gonna let out a great big scream. Everybody scream. 1, 2, 3. I'm Mr. Marty Show. Take it away, ghouls. I'm the Mr. Marty Show, Mr. Marty Show. Something's rotten on the Mr. Marty Show, the Mr. Marty SpoOktober spectacular show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Show. Always something dying on the Mr. Marty Show, and it's not my song, so don't go there, okay? Burn!
At the end of the road, where nobody likes to go, is where you can find my haunted heart. Tattered curtains in the wind, a green glow from within. That's the place of my haunted heart. Only a brave soul would venture, fight the demons who writhe about, find the soul who languishes in chains of sadness and an evil redoubt in my haunted heart. Gargoyles on the roof, a moat of serpents, there's your proof. Trapped inside my haunted heart, a banshee cries as the floorboards creak inside. Misery in my haunted heart, memories of what could have been, stalk the halls of what cannot be. The vampire is at it again, wanting to live forever. What is it with me? is what I say, unless you think that you can say. This ghost trapped in my haunted heart. Stay away is what I say, unless you're very, very brave. There's no hope here in my haunted heart. Stay away is what I say, yet I hope you'll take me away. Release me, please, from my haunted heart.
Hello, Mr. Marty fans. Welcome to the last SpoOktober episode. I'm Gulmore with MJ. I am so sad that I'm not going to hear that another time until next year. Yeah, SpoOktober always rolls around. And today we are talking about Hull House. Hull House. Does everybody in Chicago know about Hull House? Now this is a haunting of Hull House. Ooh. And I can tell you that MJ Howling was on a ghost tour outside of Hull House. Oh! You know, and I also saw it during the day and actually got to go inside, but it is the stories that follow it, what could have happened or what did happen in this house is scary. Oh! So let's go with the history. Yes. It was founded in 1889 by social reformer Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr. It became America's most famous settlement house, serving immigrants with education, healthcare, and community programs. Oh! It's now part of the University of Illinois Chicago campus, preserved as a museum. Oh, wow. Now, your ghostly legends and hauntings. The Devil Baby of Hull House. Oh, Devil Baby, oh my! Around the early 1900s, stories spread of a Devil Baby being born in Chicago, supposedly deformed with scales, horns, and globes. Oh! Ooh. The baby was said to have been taken to Hull House, where it lived hidden in the attic. Oh no! Throngs of people reportedly came to the house, demanding to see it. Jane Addams herself denied the story, but admitted she was overwhelmed by how persistent visitors were. Oh no! Likely rooted in immigrant folklore, stories about devil children punished for unfaithful and blasphemous parents. Oh. Symbolic of social anxieties about religion, poverty, and assimilation. Oh, but all because they were different. Exactly. Oh. The haunted attic. Ooh, the attic is often linked with the Devil Baby story. Oh. Visitors, staff, and students have reported cold spots, strange noises, an oppressive heavy feeling, and a sense of being watched. Some say Jane Addams herself present lingers, especially around her former office. Children's laughter and crying, possibly tied to the orphaned and sick children who passed through the settlement. Oh. Shadowy figures seen near the stairwells and upstairs room. The Devil Baby legend was so popular that it was written about in newspapers and even appeared in immigrant ghost lore collections. Oh my! It's often included in Chicago ghost tours and Halloween pictures.
Today, the Hull House Museum sometimes embraces the haunted history as part of the storytelling. And on this ghost tour, they made it a point to point out the attic rooms. And that sometimes at night, you would see a light or a ghostly figure.
Oh my, oh my.
Oh,
yeah.
So
Oh,
that is a myth of Hull House.
that
Or
is
is it?
foolish. Oh
Yes.
my, road trip.
Daytime. No.
Oh, oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh my. Now, you have a special story for us.
I have a special story, if I might impose.
Of course.
I'm sure a number of you have been on the Queen Mary in San Diego. But when I went on it, I did not, thank you, Mom, I did not realize that it was haunted.
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh, I
here we
love.
go.
Oh.
The Queen Mary, the Grand Ocean Liner, turned haunted hotel in Long Beach, California. Built in 1930, she was a luxury liner for the elite. During World War II, she served as the Gray Ghost, transporting troops. Retired in 1960, she's now permanently docked and infamous for her hauntings. Now, famous ghost, you have the engine room spirit. 1966, a crewman was crushed by a watertight door during a drill. Guests and staff say they still hear pounding and sometimes see a figure in coveralls looking near door 13. Now I can attest, I did not realize it was haunted at the time, but we saw the engine room on the tour, and I just got a really weird feeling from it. So
You
know,
did, and
knowing
not
it,
knowing.
just kind of like, you know,
Oh,
and I didn't know anything about being haunted, so this kind of explains why I got the feeling. The Lady in White, a
Ooh.
classic apparition, elegant, drifting through the ship's ballrooms, often vanished into walls.
Oh.
The pool spirits. Though the swimming pools have long been drained, visitors report left footprints, phantom splashes, and the laughter of children.
Oh.
A
yes.
little girl named Jackie is said to call out for her mother from the empty pool. Now, stateroom B340. So notoriously haunted that it was closed for decades.
Oh.
Guests reported sheets ripped off, faucets turning on, lights flickering, and even shadowy figures.
Oh
It
my.
has since been reopened as a haunted guest experience.
Oh,
yeah.
I do. Would I want to stay there? No. No.
Okay, now, everybody, here's the fun part. I decided to devise a little ghost tour for you. So close your eyes and imagine that you are on the Queen Mary, and let's go through the strip together. The fog rolled thick around the dock as the night tour began. The Queen Mary moved ahead, her dark portholes like watchful eyes. First stop on the tour, the engine room, door 13. The guide led them below deck into the bowels of the steel and shadow. This is door 13, she said, voice low. A crewman was crushed here in 1966. A sudden clang ran through the air, vibrating the iron walls. One tourist laughed nervously until they noticed the guy's flashlight trembling in her hand. From the darkest passage came the sound of boots.
Oh.
One step, two steps, silence.
Oh.
Numbers 2, the first class pool. They climbed to the old swimming pool, drained long ago but still dripping with mystery. This pool hasn't held water in decades. The guide said, yet visitors see what footprints appear. As if on cue, faint childlike giggles, good against the tiles.
Oh, I can hear them.
A woman gasped. Small red footprints trailed across the dusty floor, heading to nowhere. Mommy! A little girl's voice whispered. The group froze. No children had boarded the tour.
Oh.
The ballroom. They entered the grand ballroom, chandeliers hanging like frozen stairs. Music once filled this place, but tonight, oh Only silence lingered. A shimmer stirred by the dance floor. An elegant woman in a white gown. She drifted gracefully, her face pale as moonlight. Someone whispered, "The lady in white." The figure twirled once, then vanished into the wood. Stateroom 340. Finally, the group reached the infamous cabin. The guide hesitated before unlocking the door. B340 is our most haunted room. Guests reported voices, sheets ripped away, even scratches on the skin. The room was cold, oppressive. One of the tourists reached for the lamp. It flickered to life and snapped off. The bathroom door slammed shut. A low growl rolled from the deck, followed by a whisper, "Get out." The group bolted, footsteps clattering down the narrow hall.
I see it. I see it. Oh, yes. Oh, my. I hope you saw it too when you heard those. And so, as we pound forth, this is the last of SpoOktober. And Margot and MJ. We bid you adieu and peace.
I spot the hills with yellow balls in autumn. I light the prairie cornfields, orange and tawny gold clusters, and I am called pumpkins. On the last of October, when dusk is fallen, children join hands and circle round me, singing ghost songs and love to the harvest moon. I am Jack-o'-lantern with terrible teeth, and the children know I am fooling.
Hi, this is McPike Mansion. This is one of the most haunted buildings in Alton, Illinois, which happens to be the most haunted small town in America. Check it out. Here we go. Hi, are you Sharon?
I am. I'm the owner of McPike Mansion.
It is nice to meet you.
Well, it's nice to meet you also.
And how did you come about owning a haunted house?
Well, when I bought it, I didn't know it was haunted, and I wasn't very thrilled when I found out. So, because I'm basically a big chicken. But it is a privilege to own it, and we're very excited about getting a lot of work done over the years and saving the building.
So how long have you owned?
We have actually owned it since 1994.
Wow. And you didn't know it was haunted?
No, I did not.
So about how many entities do you think live here?
Well, we think we have about 12 to 15 spirits, including Henry Guest McPike and his mom Lydia and his first wife Mary and his son James and daughter-in-law Jenny, and Sarah. Of course, we cannot forget Sarah.
So Henry, who built the house, you think still lives here?
He still lives here. Actually, Lucas Pfeifenberger built the house. He was the architect, and the style is Second Empire Italianate with a mansard roof. And yes, he definitely still lives here. He still makes himself known.
Nice. Could we possibly go in and I take a look?
We can.
Nice. Oh, this is exciting. So that door looks pretty old. Is that like original to the house?
It is. It is one of the original. The doors are original to the house. It was built in 1869, and it took 2 to 3 years to be built.
And I'm assuming that's Henry McPike right there?
That is. That's Henry Guest McPike. And he was a very prominent person in the city of Alton, very well thought of, a very good businessman. He was in real estate. That's how he made his money.
This is really neat. Oh, look at this. You can even buy...
Patented the McPike grape. I'm not sure that's why the grapevine plasterwork is up there on the top, but or if that was just a style back then.
So he had his own grape?
He did. He had a vineyard. There was originally 15 acres here. He had vineyards and orchards. He was a charter member of the Horticultural Society in the state of Illinois, and he developed this grape, the McPike grape.
That would be interesting to have a McPike grape.
Yes, it is still actually in existence in a repository in Davis, California.
So, I see you have this blocked off. We can't go upstairs, but you guys have done a lot of renovation. This is really nice. It's coming along great.
Thank you. Yes, we've got 44 joists left out of 200.
This is so awesome.
This is where we give our presentation for our tour. We give the history and show pictures of former residents and some of our ghost pictures. And we hope the spirits are joining us up here as well as in the vaulted wine cellar.
So Halloween season's coming up. Do you guys do tours often?
Well, starting at the end of September, we are doing them every Friday and Saturday night, starting at 7:30 for 5 weekends, all through October.
So I guess if somebody wants to come, they can check out your website?
They can. It's just www.mcpikemansion.com. We're hoping for a great season like we had last year.
Okay.
It's $20 for adults, $10 for teens, and $5 for children.
Nice. So I'm gonna go back outside and take some video of outside.
Okay, that would be great.
How many acres is this? This is a pretty big place.
We own 4. We actually own 6 of the original acres. There was originally at least 15 acres, and it was called Mount Lookout Park. That is how it's registered on the National Register as Mount Lookout. So it is on one of the higher elevations of Alton.
Let's go around. This will be the south side of the house. It's a little sunroom.
It's got a beautiful sunroom.
So there's a lot of windows here. How many windows in this house?
We've actually restored 55 windows.
55 windows, wow. Okay. I'm just gonna walk around the entire pathway here that goes around the whole house. So this is the pathway to the wine cellar where Henry used his own grape and made wine. And if you come on a tour, they do a darkroom session in there. And during the darkroom session, they ask that you turn off all phones, anything that has a light. Sometimes your phone will come back on due to the spirits and the energy will turn them back on. But for the most part, they ask for them to turn off so that you could see any energies from entities, and then they will let you turn your phones back on in order to take pictures and things. And the orbs and other phenomena you get, it's amazing. So there's also a crypt here on the premise, but we are not going to go to that right now. However, I'm gonna finish walking around the entire house. This is the northeast corner of the house, and I'm walking around to the north side. And back to the front. There's a visitor come to check out the place, talking to the owner, Sharon. And there you have it, McPike Mansion. Thank you, Sharon, for allowing me to come by and video. This was so awesome, and I will be back for a tour.
Okay, and my pleasure, and I always say the nicest thing about owning McPike Mansion is meeting all the nice people.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Mr. Marty fans. Mike McScary here. Last week, Richard Diggy Prentice had lit up the night in the little town of Salem, Illinois. Quite literally. He had set fire to the house of the town's witch, Gail Darkwind, and caught up her cat Midnight in the flames. Of course, Gail was already dead, so it wasn't really an action that required much bravery, or any, really. And when we left him, Diggy was going to one-up his own tally of heroic deeds and go steal the gem off the dead woman's chest. For the final time, by the pricking of my thumbs, Episode 5, Don't Get Familiar with a Witch. When Diggy drove into the lot at the Salem Funeral Parlor, he pulled his car around back and snuggled it up close in the shadows near the basement service entrance. He reached over to his glove compartment and pulled out a flashlight. Flipping the switch, a weak beam of dull amber light spilled out. Not much, but still a good omen. How often does a glove compartment flashlight work when you need it? As he got out of the car, he could hear the first sounds of sirens. He looked to the west and could see the jagged outlines as the fire jumped and danced its way through the old dark-wind house, the flames cavorting under the full moon hanging over the town. Diggy made his way over to the door. The little piece of brick he'd placed in the sill earlier was still holding the door cracked open. Kicking the brick back behind him, he stepped in and headed down the hallway to the cooler, without noticing that the brick got swept up by the door and caught in the sill again. The flashlight barely threw any light at all, but Diggy didn't want to risk turning on the overheads in the hallway. The last thing he needed was a county mountie, or even a volunteer fireman, seeing the light from the road and coming to investigate. The cooler had no windows, though, so Diggy closed the door after himself and turned on the lights. The Fort Knox casket glowed in the middle of the room. Old Man Gray must be losing it. He hadn't even bothered to close up the casket before he'd gone home. There she was, Gail Darkwind, with all of her ancient wrinkles and warts. Nearly departed, thought Diggy, and stepped over to get a closer look at that big green gem that was clasped inside the knotted outlines of the pendant. It was huge, and in the harsh light of the cooler, it somehow looked like it might be lit from within. It really could be jade. Containing his excitement, he studied the necklace. He didn't want to touch the old hag. Couldn't bring himself to call her a witch. As he looked at the necklace, he realized it wasn't even attached. Well, it was attached to the gem, but the chain was looped over itself and then draped to make it look like she was wearing it. But nothing actually went behind the old lady's neck. Apparently, Gray didn't want to touch her any more than necessary either. All the better for Diggy. He reached over and went to pick up the pendant. As his fingers made contact, an electric current flowed out of the gem, making all of the hairs on his arms stand up and causing his teeth to slam together. He was lucky he didn't bite off his tongue. And the craziest thing of all was that his mind suddenly made a connection. And he remembered that line from high school English that Joey had been asking about. After the witches in Macbeth had said, "By the pricking of my thumbs," they followed it up with, "Something wicked this way comes." The darkness in the closed lower half of the casket started to roil, and Diggy screamed when Midnight opened his eyes. The cat raced up and out from under the lid, slashing Diggy's left hand this time as he raced by. Moving with oily speed, Midnight slipped his head into the double loop of the necklace, shook his shoulders lightly to settle the chain, and jumped to the floor. When he reached the little black flap on the bottom of the wall next to the main cooler door, he turned and looked back. Damn, there had been a bit of a mouse problem about a decade ago, and Gray had the brilliant idea of outfitting the basement area for a cat. Of course, it didn't work, and it didn't help now. The cat turned back to the rubber piece tacked up on the wall and pushed himself through. Diggy went through the cooler door and saw the moonlight was outlining the service door at the end of the hallway. He realized the brick must have slid back into place just as the cat slammed into it, opening it wide enough to slip outside. He ran after the cat, stopping quickly at the car to grab the BB gun. He pumped the lever over and over again while he ran, following the cat down towards the old oak tree and the new grave. As he made his way down near the creek, he realized with a shock that there were now 2 graves there. Cautiously, he came up on the new one. It too was perfectly carved into the dirt. With his heart beating wildly in his chest, he looked at the new gravestone. It read simply, Gale Darkwind. He couldn't stop himself from looking over at the original gravestone. There was much more written there than there had been. The RIP no longer looked off-center. It had been filled in across the stone as Richard Ignatius Prentice. The epitaph now read, The late great twister of fate thought he was Biggie, but ended just Iggy. The birth date was his. The death date? Today. Midnight raced out from behind the oak tree, looking and sounding as fierce as a panther. As Diggy scrambled back wildly away from the demon cat, his BB gun got caught up between his legs, causing him to fall. Unfortunately, he missed the ground, tumbling into the open grave, and the gun following him down. The gun looked none the worse for wear, but Diggy felt something snap when he landed. His face felt cold and he couldn't move anything, couldn't breathe. The cat jumped down and landed softly beside Diggy. From this angle, he could see that the witch's knot was framed perfectly inside the white moon of fur on Midnight's chest. The gem was definitely jade. The cat blinked, and Diggy closed his eyes and expired. Whoa, that's a cautionary tale, no? I hope there's no question about it. However, there seems to be some question still as to what exactly a witch's knot is. That amuses me, because I've been wearing one this whole month long. This, right here, is a witch's knot. It's not the witch's knot which is in our story, but any which way you look at it, I am not a witch. Happy Spooktober from Mike McScary. Till next year.
Hi, MJ Howling here with our conclusion of me taking over for Professor A and our Halloween adventure. We're going to talk about the Celtic Wheel of the Year. The Celtic Wheel of the Year is a modern reconstruction of ancient Celtic seasonal festivals based on historical fire festivals, agricultural cycles, and solar events. It's a way to mark the rhythm of nature, life, and a spiritual observance throughout the year. Now, there are 8 festivals to the Celtic Wheel. 1. Samhain, October 31st to November 1st. Marks summer's end and the start of winter. The veil between worlds is thinnest and spirits and ancestors can cross. Traditions, bonfires, offerings, and divination. Modern equivalent is Halloween. Winter solstice, or the Yule, December 20th to 23rd. Shortest day, longest night, celebrates the rebirth of the sun. Traditions, evergreen decorations, fire festivals, and feasts. 3. Imbolc, February 1 to 2nd, celebrates early spring and lambing season. Association with Bridget, goddess of fertility, healing, and poetry. Traditions, candles, purification, first signs of life returning. Spring equinox, Astara, March 20th through 23rd. Day and night are equal. Marks planting season and balance in nature. Traditions, eggs, flowers, fertility rites. Beltane, April 30th to May 1st. Beginning of summer. Celebrates fertility, fire, and growth. Traditions are maypole, bonfires, union of male and female energies. Summer solstice. Litha, June 20th through 23rd. Longest day, shortest night. Honors the full power of the sun. Traditions, sun rituals, bonfires, festivals of light. Luknashist, or Lammas, August 1st, the first festival harvest. Named after Yog, god of skill and the sun. Traditions, baking bread, feasting, giving thanks for crops. The last part of the wheel is the autumn equinox. Mabon, September 20th to 23rd. Day and night equal again. Marks second harvest, preparation for winter. Traditions are harvest festivals, reflection, gratitude, balancing light and dark. So the key themes across the wheel: cycles of light and dark, solstices and equinox mark extremes and balances. Agricultural rhythm, planting, harvesting, and livestock. Spirituality, liminality. Certain times, Samhain, Beltane, are thin veils when humans can connect with spirits. And fire festivals. Many Celtic holidays involve fire as protection, purification, and renewal. So class, thank you for putting up with MJ Howling as your substitute professor. Hope you learned a little bit about the history of Halloween, Samhain, and some witchcraft. Have a wonderful evening. Professor A will be back in November. Again, this is MJ Howling saying good night and have a howling safe Halloween.